How do I put this? You win some and you lose some. Oh my word. Girl. Hi friends, my name is Auntie Cuckoo. Welcome to my channel. Today we're doing some fall crafting and it's all part of the Mystery Box Challenge. If you're not familiar with it, I'll have it posted over here for you. So Courtney is the creator and we all send each other a box, bunch of crafty people in this challenge. And then there's 2 challenge items in your mystery box and you have to use those. Oh, and one of them was my nightmare. So we're gonna get into my box. I want you to know that Ashley sent me my box. I adore her. Check her out both on YouTube and Instagram. She is very talented. I love her transformations. Okay, I sent my box to Whitney, who is Whiskey and Wit, and I can't wait to see what she creates. Let me show you what Ashley sent me. Hi guys, so my box just got here. We're gonna get right into the box. So my box actually came from Ashley. Super cute. Look at this little damask style wrapping paper she did. Now that I've got it unwrapped, let's get right into it. Let me give it a little, oh, how cute. Look at this. Adorable. So there's a little note on top. It says Val, enjoy the challenge items, wink, wink. Girl. Oh, cute. Hello, 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 hello. Hey Val, I can't wait to see what you create using the things in the box. I bet you can't tell I'm ready for fall. Hee hee hee. Me too, Ashley. So if you guys don't know Ashley, she's amazing. She's always redoing incredible furniture pieces. I follow her for inspiration. So be sure to check her out both on YouTube and Instagram. So we've got a wrapped package and another wrapped package. Oh my gosh, this is so cute. So we've got a little hello sign in gold. Love that. I just showed these in my Dollar Tree shop with me. So we've got some ghosties, some wooden feathers, love. So those are Crafter Square. I haven't seen those. It's a garland. Okay, these are really nice. Some lamb's ear. We've also got some of the little glass bottles by Crafter Square. Some little ghost string lights from the Dollar Tree, some faux leather words. I haven't seen these. Very pretty. So there's a few different to choose from. There's blessed and thankful, probably grateful as well. And then we've got a wooden house in the black. And oh my gosh, this is so cool. Acrylic note board by Jot. I need this. Do I have to use this? I just want to keep it. Okay, now it's time for the mystery items. I think I know what this is. I'm going to guess it's a paintbrush holder from the Dollar Tree. I was correct. It just felt somewhat familiar. So I have actually eyeballed these a few times. So we'll see what I come up with for this one. And then challenge item number 2. Boy, this wrapping paper is no joke. Super strong. Oh my word. Girl. Okay. All right. Wow. This is the most challenging challenge item I've ever received in the Mystery Box Challenge. You ready? I don't think I'm ready. There you go. Wow, girl. You've got me thinking of all kinds of craziness. Yeah. Speechless, but I'll come up with something. We gotta get crafting. This time around in the Mystery Box Challenge, using a cardboard box at least 4 inches by 4 inches was the twist. So we're going to do that right away and address it by using this graham cracker box to create part of our first DIY. Now this one was fall inspired. They're all fall themed. A few of them are Halloween. This one in particular, I was thinking fall movies. Now, I haven't actually watched this movie from beginning to end. I have seen bits and pieces. I'm not a huge movie buff, but I do think that this is considered a fall movie. So I used my box to create a little book, just cutting off two of the edges to glue them onto either end. And then once I have it all assembled, I'm going to go ahead and start painting it. I just used a combination of black, brown, and white paint, dipping my brush in to just have it look sort of like streaked pages along the three edges, the long side and the two shorter sides. I had to go back a few times on these sides that I went a little too heavy with the brown and make it more white like the pages. Now once I let that dry, I decided that it needed a little something extra, so I just brushed on some gold, just sort of like a dry brushing, and I think that that added a nice touch to it. Now once that was dry, it was time to cover our book, and for that I am using the faux leather vinyl from the Dollar Tree, piece of a scrap that I had on hand, and then I went ahead and did the same for the other side as well as the binding. Once I had those cut out, I just went ahead and used some hot glue to adhere it to the front and to the back and side of the book. Now I think that this is really cute. It's really fun. It's actually kind of a 2-for DIY. So for this one, we're using the twist item being the cardboard box. We're going to pair it with something else to make this make sense, and that is one of our challenge items, the paintbrush holder from the Dollar Tree. So I did not realize that this item didn't just open and close. It actually sort of telescopes. You have to twist it. So after twisting it open, I went ahead and used all kinds of tools to just remove and cut off one end. I took off the little hanger, or what would you call that, handle, and then I just sort of cleaned up the edges with my scissors, and boy do I need some new scissors. All right, so once I was done with that, I took it outside and I gave it a quick coat of some gold spray paint I had on hand. Now I wasn't thrilled with how that turned out and how that looked, and I do want the edges of it to look sort of wood or brass, old. So I took some black and brown paint and just sort of wiped around the edges. Then I added some brighter gold, just sort of brushing it on the top. And now to go with this, we're going to use another item from our mystery box, and that is the wooden feathers. So I went ahead and opened that up and took one out, and then I just wanted to give it a fun feather look. So I mixed up some brown, some red, a little bit of black. Once that all dried, I actually went in and just did some white brush strokes. I added a little bit of gold. It's really kind of fun to paint these, and then once they're both fully dry, I'm going to take the feather that is painted and I'm going to hot glue that to the top of the paintbrush holder in the little center part that sticks up that had that little dongle or hanger on it. Now I did go back with some hot glue and put in a little more in the hole of the feather to fill it in, and I covered it with some black paint for the finished product, and I have paired them together, and this is what it looks like. This is the finished product. Any guesses what movie inspired this? It's actually from Harry Potter. Like I said, I actually haven't watched them from beginning to end, so I don't even know if it's a specific Harry Potter, but I was told from a reliable source that there is a writing quill in Harry Potter, and I do think Harry Potter is somewhat fall. Maybe it's the whole Halloween vibe that I was going for. What do you guys think? Does this look like a maybe spell book and a writing quill? That's what I was going for. But now on to the next DIY. For this one, we're using more of our feathers. And in the magic of DIY, just like that, my feathers are painted. I went with a rosy pink, a green, a sort of burgundy and purple. And then I dry brushed on a little bit of that gold paint. I am loving gold this year. And I just added a few brush strokes, a little bit heavier down at the bottom of the feathers. And I took out some stickers. So for those of you who have text stickers, this might be up your alley. I am going to use them to spell out fall. I'm doing the F on the burgundy, an A, and I don't know why I didn't check this before I started, but I didn't have two L's, so I took a U and I just sort of cut it up to make it work, and I don't think you can really tell. I think these look pretty good. And now I'm going to actually pair these letters with that little hello sign that had the hexagon. I'm using a little bit of gold ribbon. It's sort of a burlappy gold, and I'm just adding each feather to the bottom edge of that hello sign with a little bit of hot glue. So I just threaded through the ribbon on one side of the feather, secured it with some hot glue, and then I went ahead and cut it down to the right size, secured it onto the frame with another little bit of hot glue. I did sort of play around with the placement. The feathers are a little bit big, so I had to sort of stagger them, and I think this is pretty cute. It turned out really boho. I'm thinking of using this in my daughter's room, and that's why I chose the colors that I did, but you could always use colors that you are fond of. You could spray paint the sign. You could turn the hexagon portion into more of a wreath by adding ribbon or floral, personalize it for any color scheme or theme that you have in mind. I love the way the gold goes with the gold stickers. I didn't have to break out the Cricut. I got to use something from my craft stash, and I love that it's sort of a macrame dream catcher inspired fall piece. It's a little bit glam, it's a little bit boho, and I think it is perfect for fall. What do you guys think? Comment down below and let me know. Now we've used 2 more items from our box, and it's on to the next DIY. For this one, I'm pulling out a pumpkin frame from the Dollar Tree and a t-shirt I found there because we are going to be using these little ghosties. So I took out some twine, I tied it in a knot. I've got a vision here. I hope it works out. So I'm just going to use this as sort of an anchor for these ghosts. I want to have a little bit of fun for Halloween, and so we're going to have a fall look with a little bit of a trick-or-treat spooky surprise. This one is actually inspired by something that happens to me every year in the Dollar Tree during Halloween. Minding my own business, walking down the aisles, taking in all of the goodness, and all of a sudden one of the sensors on one of these little things catches me and scares the daylights out of me. Let's see if this will work. I think we are in business. So imagine this at your front door for those who walk up. So I was thinking that this t-shirt was perfect, and you can't beat the price. It was $1.25 from the Dollar Tree, and I thought maybe I'll secure it with some zip ties. And then I got really brave because I only have one of these, and I decided to cut it down the back seam, or I guess the front seam, because I'm using the back, which is a little bit longer on the front of the pumpkin. I'm glad I did, because my initial thought was to secure it with all zip ties, make it nice and taut, but that just wasn't working. So I decided to use my hot glue gun. I'm just going to fold the edges of the t-shirt over the seams of the pumpkin along the whole outer edge, hot gluing them as I go, and then I'm going to go ahead and trim off all of the excess. The t-shirt works perfectly because it is thin enough to conceal the fact that there's something behind it, and it also is sheer enough to pick up on the motion sensor. So I'm loving this. I also decided to add some jute rope along the curves of the pumpkin. I just hot glued them all down, and then I was able to go around the whole edge, and I didn't even use up one bundle of the jute rope from Dollar Tree, so really affordable to add the rope to the DIY. And then once I had all of the jute cord all the way around the pumpkin, it was time to figure out what to do with that stem. Now I had, hot glued and MacGyvered around the stem portion, and I knew I could get away with covering it with more jute rope. So I unraveled the jute so that I had one of the strands of the 3 that they braid it with, and I hot glued it to the back of the bottom of the stem, and then I was able just to hot glue it down, wind it around, do a little more hot glue, sort of glued it to the jute below it, sort of layering it, and that worked really well. Then I took the rest of the jute, I unwound the extra strands, I just hot glued them on, and then I was going to use the lamb's ear that Ashley sent me in my box as well, so I went ahead and added those for this one. Who would have ever guessed using lamb's ear together with the ghost, but hey, it works. And this is a look at our finished pumpkin. Now I did add a ribbon on top and more lamb's ear, and I actually think this is really pretty. I'm really happy with how it turns out. I think it would be a great front door piece. It's very fall, very harvest, and very unassuming for those who may happen to be at your door. And the best part is it has an on-off switch, so you can always keep it off till Halloween, unless you're feeling tricky.
Happy Halloween!
Now I took it outside to put on my door, and here it is in action.
Happy Halloween!
Now it is super sensitive to motion, so use with caution, be kind, don't be mean to your delivery people. Now it's time for another DIY. For this one, we're using that acrylic piece that Ashley sent me. I used a little nail polish remover to take off the text, but we'll get to that. Plans had to be changed. So my idea was to sandwich it between two wooden pieces that I had picked up at the Dollar Tree. I just measured them, had my husband cut them down, and this is the nightmare that ensued when he brought them to me. Somehow I spilt my stain. It went all over the back of my door. I decided, well, waste not, want not. So I just grabbed some paper towels and used them to stain the wood. And then I didn't even like the way they looked. So I went ahead and painted them with a taupe color. Now, once I painted them on both sides, all of the edges, let them dry, I'm taking one of the Thankful pieces that she sent me in those little leather text items, and this is when the plan had to be changed because yeah, this acrylic was cloudy. I don't know how people use nail polish remover or acetone and their items end up clear. This was foggy and dirty looking. So I'm going to cover this acrylic using some black faux leather from the Dollar Tree. It's one of their vinyl items, one of my favorite craft items. This is the second time I'm using it in this video. I'm going to hot glue that down to the acrylic piece, and then I'm going to add the wooden pieces that I painted to the bottom on one side, and then more hot glue and sandwich it to the other side. And then you know, if any more couldn't happen tonight, my battery went dead, so I added a little clip to the top, and then I hot glued down this little gold piece that came on a candle from the Dollar Tree. And there you go, I've got a little clip style picture frame, perfect for the fall with Thankful. And these are my babies. Can you believe it? This picture is 16 years old. They are all pretty much grown adults. You guys, if you're mamas and you have babies, treasure these times. I know they're hard, but enjoy them because you will look back and think, where did all the time go? I love this little piece. I'm going to keep it here in my room so I can see my babies and remember all of the times when they were little during fall. Now it's time to get on to the next DIY. This one, it's another twofer. It's going to get a little funky up in here. First, we're going to use that little glass bottle that Ashley sent me. I'm going to fill it with some very bright green paint. This was more tricky than I anticipated it being. It'll be interesting if you try this. I used a paintbrush, and then I just decided to cap it and sort of roll it between my hands, and that worked, and then I let it dry. Now we're going to take that little black house that she sent me and some white stickers. I had my stickers out, so I decided to go ahead and use some of these for this DIY. Can you guess what I am writing? This is another movie, or I should say fall movie inspired piece. So I can't say that I've seen the whole movie this time either. I'm just not a movie watcher. I'm much more of a doer. I'd rather be cleaning something, crafting something, out shopping, or decorating, to be honest with you. But this is an iconic movie. Now don't do what I did and break your L right before you were going to put it on here. I actually had to use an E for my other one, but it all worked out. Now I'm going to add this green bottle over here. I wish there wasn't such a thing as copyright. Otherwise, I would be playing you guys a song right now, and it goes a little something like this. There's something strange in the neighborhood. Who you gonna call? Definitely not America's Got Talent, definitely not American Idol or The Voice. I just had to give you guys an idea of what I'm doing here. Now I also cut off one of the ghosts from the string lights that she gave me and I painted it white. Once that dried, I added it over here for our little sign. Now to go with this. This is the pinnacle of my crafting career. Mark it down, today's the day. Not really. But I had a good time, and that's what matters. So I took 2 of the styrofoam pumpkins from the Dollar Tree. I cut just a sliver off of one. I turned it onto its side, and I used those little toothpicks that they put the stems in with. Their stems are horrible. Let's just all call it what it is. And my battery died. I hot glued those together. And then I added that little sliver that we cut off of the bottom of the pumpkin that we glued on to the one that is standing up just horizontally to the top of the pumpkin that is standing up vertically on its side to sort of make it a little taller. And this is when things got interesting. You know that challenge item Ashley sent me, that beautiful vinyl mask? It's time to use it. It's a little squishy. I wish I could come up with something different, but here goes nothing. I'm going to go ahead and cut it. I'm going to cut off the top portion because we're only going to be using the bottom portion. I'm going to trim it up really nice and neat and then use some hot glue to adhere it to our pumpkins. Now, this is another twofer, so this DIY goes with our last one, and at this point I was kind of having a Silence of the Lambs moment with this mask, but it's okay. I took out all my angst and anxiety with the hot glue gun and got it secured really well. Then you're going to go into your wrapping paper and pull out some tissue paper, and I'm just twisting it, folding it. I want the bottom portion of this pumpkin to be a little more full. Now, I added a few sheets, and truth be told, if I had to do it all over again, I probably would have hot glued on some of those long roller style curlers that they sell in the hair department of the Dollar Tree. I think those would have worked better. Now I am taking more tissue paper and I'm making a hot mess. I'm making kind of like an 80s band headband. Silence of the Lambs mask massacre. I just got out my Mod Podge and I just started going for it. I mean, it was a paper mache massacre. There's no method, there's no rhyme, there's no reason. This was me going on, winging it on a hope and a prayer, and it got a lot worse before it got remotely better, but I will say it did get better. Now, things were sticking to me. I mean, the tissue paper was following me around the house. It was getting stuck on my arm. Such a mess. I did not do this very patiently or calmly. I was just smacking it together. And once I was fully covered in Mod Podge and my desk was fully covered in Mod Podge and this strange creation was covered in tissue paper that kept sticking to paper plates and my desk was covered in Mod Podge, it turned out okay. I set it outside to dry and it's been hot, so it dried pretty quickly. Now, once it was dry, I brought it inside and I was happy because you could kind of see what I was going for. The mouth and the nose were there. Now, like I said, if I was going to do this all over again, I would have put something thicker around the bottom. I painted it green and this is what it looks like. And I think you can see where I'm going with this, although I have a few comments on what it turned out looking like. I'm not much of a painter. I usually start off really light-handed and then I go too far and it gets messy. Now, for me, I think this one turned out really good because I am going for Slimer from Ghostbuster to go with our little sign. Now, this was kind of fun. This was like doing a nice smoky eye on this weird green goblin thing. I used some rubbing alcohol to sort of smooth out the paint. I don't know, guys. There's no rhyme or reason to this. I did notice that by looking at a few pictures of Slimer online, there was sort of a highlight above his brow, so I just tried to smudge on some white paint, and then I decided he needed to do what the girls on makeup tutorials do and put a little on his nose too. I would have put it on a Cupid's bow, but he doesn't really have one. And then I added some white paint for both the eyes and the teeth. Then I realized that Slimer doesn't really have great oral hygiene, so I ended up going over the white with a mixture of white, yellow, and brown because that was a little bit more realistic. I just used smudges of white paint, brown paint to give that, you know, Dunlap syndrome, hang over the belly look. And then I just kind of smoothed it out with some alcohol and just kind of wiped it a little bit. And then I went in with some white paint around just the cheekbones and around the mouth. And then it was time to add a gum line because I guess even with his poor oral hygiene, he doesn't have gingivitis, he doesn't have receding gums. So I took a fine paintbrush and just pulled that paint down between the teeth. This was kind of tricky to figure out how to paint because I'm not a painter. Okay, then I went in with the bottom lips, added some more pink, and then I took some pink and some red and I gave him a tongue. Now, a lot of the pictures of Slimer actually had his tongue coming out of his mouth. I didn't think I was going to be able to pull that off, so I just went with his tongue in his mouth. Then I took a little bit of brown paint, and I mean a little, almost a dry brush, and I added in all of the laugh lines and just tried to imitate the pictures of Slimer that I was seeing, just sort of low lighting, I guess, if it's not a highlight, and just accentuating the belly rolls. Now, he looks okay from the front. He's not super cute from the back, but who am I kidding? Neither am I. So I'm not going to address the back. I just sort of did the rolls to the sides and called it a day. I then went in with some more white, some black, and some brown, added some pupils, and there he is, ladies and gentlemen. He is my version of Slimer to go with this sign, Who You Gonna Call, in honor of fall, Halloween, and this season. Now, I would have never made this if Ashley didn't send me this mask. So thanks, Ashley. It was a good time. He kind of reminds me of Shrek. He also kind of reminds me of the chubby caterpillar from, I believe it's Ant's Life. I mean, I definitely was going for Slimer, but I could see all three. Which one do you see? Comment down below and let me know. And this is, you know, a fun little fall-inspired DIY, fall movie-inspired. So do you have a favorite fall movie? Let me know. I'm not a movie watcher, so Elf, does that count? Can I talk about Christmas yet? I just know I'm going to get heat in the comments for even mentioning it. I know that that is most your biggest nightmare. I know the kids just went back to school and summer just ended, but I am planning videos for Christmas, so be sure to subscribe so you don't miss out on any of the holiday fun from fall to Christmas and beyond. I'm excited to see what this next chapter brings us. So what do you think? How did I do? Did I rise to the challenge? Is this a nightmare or a dream come true? I'm not sure. I hope you guys enjoyed seeing what I created. Be sure to check out the playlist down below in the description. You can binge watch all these crafty videos. It's a good time. Be sure to check it out. Thank you all so much for watching, and I'll see you back very soon.